Hi, Nick here. And look, firstly, I'd just like to thank you for the amazing response that I've had. I can't believe how many people this has touched and how many of you not only responded and gave me a like or passed it on to somebody else, which, by the way, better than a like is to send it to somebody else in case it might be of interest to them. The response has been amazing. I'm totally humbled and surprised by the honesty and the actual reaching out that, well over 100 people have messaged me and told me about their situation, whatever that might be. And if I haven't got back to you, I apologize, but I tried to get back to everyone. But what it did do is it actually changed what I was going to do. So originally I thought, well, I'll start you with my journey and where it starts. And my journey's now been going for a couple of months. And the first place it started, believe it or not, is with my gut. But in response to the responses that I've got, by far the greatest number were people saying to me, so tell me, how do I know when it's gone from just having a few things slip the mind to actually when it's actually becoming a pattern, when actually there is some cognitive decline there? And look, I don't know, man, but that's like the hardest question in the world to answer. But I'm going to give you a few ideas and a few pointers that I've looked at, and you try them out for yourself. And there are no hard and fast rules in this. This is your adventure. This is your experience, not anybody else's. So please, the first thing to get past is to think that somehow you're going to go online, or your doctor or somebody's psychologist or whatever is going to give you a memory test. And then they're going to assess your memory based on, how well you remembered 20 words 5 minutes later, or how you can see whether one box fits into another box, or all of these other great ideas that are supposedly there to help see how you remember. The point is they're nonsense. So my problem is that I'm a reasonably high functioning person. So my partner, being a psychologist, put me through a couple of tests, and I did one called the MOCA test, which is the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Test that Dr. Dale Bredesen said that he uses. And I came out above average. So my partner says to me, wow, well, you're above average, so you don't actually have any memory problems. And are you kidding? And that's not how it works. So number one is, don't think that there's a test out there that's simply going to tell you how your memory is. Because you know what? In reference to everybody else, what they think and how they think doesn't matter. It's what you think and how you think that's critical. So I thought I'll address this, as clearly this is on a lot of people's minds. So the first thing, and you got to be honest with yourself in this one, and this is the first question, is, do I want to know? It starts by observation. And ironically, this is not anybody else's observation. This is your observation. So, my forgetfulness of the names of trees, I knew about this a few years ago, but I didn't do anything about it. And I didn't do anything about it for one very simple reason, was because I could let it slide because it wasn't important. It wasn't that I'd forgotten how to drive a car, or I couldn't have a conversation because I couldn't think of the words, or I couldn't do anything, get on a bus, pay a fare, use my credit card. It was something easy to overlook. And so, it's very helpful when you have a relationship with somebody who fills in the blanks for you. And I don't know if that's you, but you know what? I've been with my partner for over 20 odd years now, and she understands me very well. So when I can't think of something, then, she's already put the answer in my mind. Yeah, of course, that's a willow. So that is very helpful in a day-to-day communication, but it's very unhelpful when it comes to an observation of what your memory's like, because somebody is filling in a space that allows you to escape actually having to think, I wonder what that word is again. And smartphones are a killer too, We go to text somebody and we can't think of the word. We start putting a word in and bang, we get here's 4 words. Oh, that's the one I'm looking for. So we start doing that, Our digital life is robbing of us of using our heads. So I guess the first question, after you've said, yes, I want to know the answer, and then I've got to start looking internally for that answer. The first question then is quite simple. What am I forgetting? Well, words were one thing that I was forgetting, but also if I'm honest and I'm truthful, I don't know about you, but I've always put my keys down somewhere. I've always put my phone down somewhere, And just before Christmas, when I started on this adventure, I left a cafe because I was early and walked away, came back half an hour later, sat down ironically in the same seat, and the lady came up to me and said, "Were you sitting here half an hour ago?" I said, "Yeah, I was." And she said, "Well, then here are your keys and here's your phone." Now, I'd wandered off, gone and done a whole lot of other stuff and hadn't even noticed that I hadn't done it. So, is mindfulness important? Absolutely. So, mindfulness is great, but if internally we actually decide, you know what? Another thought comes in and it overtakes that thought. Like, I've got half an hour, I can get to the shop and I can do some stuff and I can get back before I go. So now my mind is go to the shop, do some stuff, come back. And it's immediately forgotten. By the way, you've just left your keys and your cell phone down there. So let's look at what it is we forget. And is it people's names? And quite often you haven't seen someone for a long time. You know them well, but whew, man, do you think you can remember their name? On the tip of my tongue, right? And then other people, it's numbers. Yeah, I used to be really good with numbers, but now, you know what? I'm having difficulty. I could add them up in my head, and now I'm having to write them down to do it. Ooh, okay. Or in my case, words. I'd be having a conversation, and the word would be gone. Damn, what was that word? No partner there to fill it in for me. Observation. I've actually forgotten a word that I'd normally know. So, hey, is that a difference? Well, yes, it is. And then you go, well, actually, I wasn't paying attention. Right. And this is where we get back to the problem with memory tests. The problem with a memory test is it doesn't ask you what's going on in your life. What you're doing is important. So have you just gone through a bad time in your life? Did your partner leave you? Has somebody died that you loved? I'm under financial pressure. What are the emotional drivers that are affecting you at the moment? And are they some way overriding your ability to be mindful, to look at things, to remember? Hey, if that was the case, then you know what? It's not memory loss. It's just simply that your mind is made up of another thought and it's overtaking everything and the rest kind of just disappear into the background. Now, if you knew that and you look back and you went, oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was a bad time. I was going through a bit of a depression, whatever else. And you go, well, my memory actually was a bit down then and I couldn't remember a whole lot of things and a whole lot of things did slip me by. But you know what? I'm out of that now and things have changed and so is my memory. Self-observation. How am I emotionally? Is that affecting my memory? And when I move forward past that event or in control of that event, then is my memory coming back? That means you need to be thinking about things on a long term. So a memory test is just a snip. It's that minute, that day, that time that you sat down and did it. And you know what? It may not be relevant next week, next month, next year. So what we need to have is context. And if you're interested in this, I'm going to put together a bi-monthly memory test. It'll be 6, maybe 10 questions. They'll get emailed to you every 2 months. Those questions are going to be around simple memory things and how you're feeling and how you're coping and what else is going on in your life. And so at the end of the year, you'll be able to look back and go, oh, actually, yeah, over the last year, these are the results of my memory test. And these are what I was going through when I was doing it. So you know what? My memory hasn't changed. My memory's got better. My memory's got a little worse. So that way, you can then look back and observe and not have to try and remember, what was my memory like 6 months ago? Actually, you'll start having a database of your own memory because of these memory tests. So if you're interested, please get me through LinkedIn or get me through Facebook, or you can email me, nickrowney@gmail.com. And I guess another thing to say to you, which is very important, is don't think you're being paranoid. This is not about being paranoid. Quite often we go, oh yeah, don't be silly. You know, it's just silly. Yeah. And I'm just being paranoid. Being paranoid is fine. It doesn't mean somebody or something's not happening. So in this case, if you think to yourself, wow, that was a bit strange or a bit odd, and then you go to brush it off with an excuse, with a reason, with somebody else in your life coming in and going, oh no, don't be stupid. No, we all do that. Hey, listen, my memory's not that good. You know, the other day I couldn't remember. And suddenly they've taken you from actually being observant of yourself to making it all right. And that might make them feel all right, because you know what? Maybe they don't want to address that. Maybe things are changing for them. Maybe they aren't. But don't let other people say to you, you're just being paranoid, or don't be silly because I all do that. Well, we all do that. So a case in point is my mother used to say to me when I was young, this remembering things is really bad. You know, I just keep forgetting stuff all the time. And I went, hey, Mum, everybody forgets stuff all the time. I do it. You know, don't be so mad. We all do it. Now, I was very, very dismissive of my mother, and she was actually reaching out and telling me something that I wasn't in the position, both emotionally or intellectually, to respond to in a way that I should have, and I really regret that. And so, you know, I think that if somebody says to you, you know, this is how I'm feeling, you want to pay attention, because that's how they're feeling. And if it's you, and you think, wow, well, you know what? This is different. You know, this has changed. Then listen to yourself, and don't be swayed by other people trying to either make you feel better. Oh, hey, don't worry. We all forget stuff. Mum, don't you worry. You know, I do it all the time. To, you know, well, actually, I don't actually want to hear this, because then maybe there's something going on with my memory. Seek information. I'm just talking to you about me, and me is fine for me, but it's not you. And if it's you and you want to find out about it, go look. You know, Dale Bredesen, you know, the end of Alzheimer's. There are dozens of people who are coming out now with diets, with meditation, with removing toxins, with exercises, with physical exercise. Wow, getting the brain to work again. Once again, thank you so much for your response. Been overwhelming. I'm just blown away. And I'm working towards getting my website up, and please let me know if you're interested in joining and getting a bi-monthly little kind of questionnaire that you can fill in. This is your information, not mine. I have no interest in it. I'm not your doctor. I am not any health professional. This is your information. It will remain your information. It's just simply a way for you to look back over a year and look at your own answers, and then say, is this a true representation of who I am, how I felt, what was going on in my life, and how I remembered things. And so thank you very much for following me on my dementia adventure. And the next posting I'll get back to what I was originally going to do, is telling you, hey, how I'm going about doing this. Have a great day. Thanks.